Hey guys, Lisa from Hello Happy here, and today I'm going to show you how to make these little froggy pouches. And you're like, well, what are they? What are they for? Let me show you. So you're going to the store, right? But you're just running a quick errand. You're only going to get a couple of things. So you just want to take a tote bag. You don't want to bring a purse. I mean, you could throw a wallet into the bottom of the bag. You've done it before. You'll do it again. That's fine. It'd be nice if there was a better way. Introducing Froggy Pouch. So here is the purpose of Froggy Pouch, okay? Take your credit card, put in Froggy Pouch. Grab a chapstick, put in Froggy Pouch. Grab the long loop, pull it through the short loop, and then tote bag, put tote bag on shoulder, or any large bag that you have that you put on your shoulder. Take Froggy. Wrap around handle with long loop. Put Froggy through long loop, like you are imprisoning him. I'm so sorry, little Froggy. And now, credit card and chapstick. Easily accessible. It's right there. You could also dangle on outside of bag if wanting attention. I'm not sure why I'm speaking like some strange robot. Now, all you have to do to grab your card out of the pouch is just pull it up, pull on the small loop and the long loop, like so. You can just pull it right out like that. Oh, what's that? Your lips are dry? No problem, I got a chapstick. Boom. You want a froggy pouch? Of course you want a froggy pouch. Here it is. It's beautiful. And there's a pink one. This is the one I made for this tutorial. This little pink guy. You can see how they're a little bit different, but still beautiful. So let's make one. I actually recorded the entire process, so this is going to be a long video. I made the pink one from start to finish. So you can skip ahead or you can just put it on and have it on in the background and vibe out. I don't know. But first, a word from our sponsors. Today's video is sponsored by me. Look at this incredible crochet pattern that you could make right now if you go to my website and get it. Isn't that lovely? So go to hellohappy.net today and get this pattern. Isn't it nice? All right, back to you, me. Okay, so let's talk supplies. I used worsted weight yarn for the green frog. I used Big Twist Value in Slime, RIP Joanne Fabrics. This is like my favorite frog yarn. And for the pink one, I used Brava from Knit Picks. This is cotton candy. It's definitely the color of cotton candy. So the pink one comes out slightly bigger because it's a little bit fluffier. So obviously, depending on the type of yarn that you use, you might have a smaller or bigger result. You may need to adjust the pattern a little bit to make it fit whatever you want to put into your little pouch. So keep that in mind. Another easy way to like make the pouch bigger is simply use like a bulky weight yarn and maybe a 5.5mm hook or even a 6mm hook. You know, depends on the yarn that you have, what works well. You can experiment. It's crochet is art. Play around with it until you like it, always. You can see I used the cotton candy colored yarn for the cheeks here, and then the pink one I used a yellow that I believe was also Brava worsted. I can't remember the name of the color. It's like canary or something, but use whatever colors you want. The reason I used a 4.5mm hook, which is quite large for worsted weight yarn, is because I did the yarn under, yarn over single crochet method, which I will show you in this video, and I also have a link to a tutorial that I made in the description. And it creates a much tighter stitch naturally, so you can use a larger hook. Besides the yarn, you're going to need something for the eyes. I have used buttons that are domed. You can try all sorts of things, flat buttons. You can crochet them out of embroidery floss. You could use scrapbooking brads, cut out felt, glue them on. You could just straight up embroider them, do whatever you want. That's just what I used. You could also do like, cute little flat buttons for the blush, like how I did on my froggy microphone cover, because I think that turned out really cute. So do whatever you like. And then obviously if you want to embroider a mouth, thread, or embroidery floss, I used embroidery floss just because it's thicker and more convenient. And then of course you'll need scissors, needle and thread, like, to sew on buttons. Just your basic stuff, but really it's just yarn and a hook for this guy. Super simple supplies list. I know somebody's probably gonna ask, this is a Uniqlo shirt from like 2023, I think. I believe it was in the kids section. Alright, so to get started, just have your yarn, your hook, and whatever you're using as stitch markers ready to go. What you're gonna do first is grab 4 arm lengths of yarn, and this doesn't have to be super specific, doesn't matter the length of your arm, you're gonna have enough yarn. So just hold one end and pull it all the way up to your shoulder and get 4 lengths without cutting though, one continuous length of yarn. Just make it 4 arm lengths long. And 3 and 4. And then you're going to make your slip knot. And this is going to be the top border of the frog, but you can't make that until a little bit later. So what you're going to do for now is just wind it up so it's out of the way. You can always just leave it too. It doesn't matter. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. So go ahead and insert your hook into your slip knot and chain 36. Now you won't be doing any joining, you're simply going to flip the chain over and slip your hook into the first loop on your first chain like this and do a single crochet. But we won't be doing regular single crochets, we're going to do the under over version. So that's not over, but you go under and you drag it through, and then you yarn over and bring it on the top. I have a whole video for this. It'll be in the description, the link to it. So if you need more instruction than this, you can go ahead and watch that. But this whole pattern will be worked with that type of single crochet. So go ahead and do 36 around. So when you get to this point, you might not be sure whether you need to crochet more stitches, like how many more exactly. Is it one? Is it two? Is it none? If you're not used to crocheting into chains in the round this way. So all you need to do is just count your stitches, 2, 4, 6, etc. I counted, I'm at 35, so I need to only do one more, and if you look closely, you can see that there's really only one more chain left. But again, if you're not used to working like this, you might not have the eye, you might not be able to see it very well, so just count backwards, count your single crochet stitches, and this would be your very first single crochet stitch that you did, and for me this is number 35. So I've got one more left, and that would be this one here for 36. And that is it for round 2. Okay, so this is going to be the skinniest part of your pouch. This is going to be the opening. So at this point, you want to make sure that this is big enough for whatever you're planning to put in your pouch. Assuming it's just a credit card, it doesn't need to be very big. So you want to just like grab whatever you're planning on putting in this pouch and make sure that it can go through the opening. So here is this credit card wallet that I have posted for free on my channel. I still have my old Buy Mart card in here. So we're just gonna make sure, and I mean this can easily fit through. So as long as whatever you're gonna put in there fits, you're good to go. For round 3, we're just gonna do 2 increases, one on each side. So into the 18th stitch and then the 36th stitch. And for a lot of the pattern, we're not going to do a lot of counting, but for the first few rows we will. And then we'll simply lay it flat and then determine where the middle is and just mark each side. I'll go into this later when we, get there. But for now, just increase and single crochet between. All right, now we've got 38 stitches because we did 2 increases. Next, round 4 is going to be just single crochet, no increases, so just single crochet around for 38 stitches. All right, and there is round 4 complete. And next, we're gonna crochet the top so we can get that done and out of the way. So let's work on that. If you have bundled up and tied up the yarn, release that. Release the Kraken! I'm very sorry. And what you're gonna need to do now is smush this so the increases are on the side. And then you need to, both with counting but also just using your eyes, figure out exactly where the middle is. So rather than counting, for me personally, I'm going to figure out where the very front side stitch on both sides of the front are here. And I'm just gonna go into, two, two, two. So I'm left with this one in the middle. So I am just gonna put a stitch marker right there. And then just put a stitch marker in on the other side directly behind it. So these are where the loops are going to go. You can see on the original we have the loop, the short loop goes in the front and the longer loop goes in the back, like so. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're going to open up a loop here to stick our hook in. We're gonna slip stitch until the stitch marker. This is the front one. This front loop is a chain of 8, and then we're going to slip stitch until we get to the back one, and that is a chain of 50. And then we'll slip stitch until we get back to our very first stitch. And if you are using a different yarn and you can make adjustments, I would maybe wait until the end of the project so you can make sure your loops are big enough, because you're gonna need a different stitch count than I'm using, and it just makes more sense to wait. So what you want to do is go through, it's a little tricky this first one because it's like, is there really a stitch? But it's okay. You just have to make it look, okay. So just stab your needle through wherever. I'm just gonna pick up just this single loop here. And then you're just gonna slip stitch, and you don't want to do it too tightly. Do a fairly loose slip stitch. You're not looking to make the opening smaller. You just want to make it look nice and neat and finished. So go through both loops that are left from your starting chain. Okay, so I have reached the first stitch marker. So this is the short loop, so I'm going to slip stitch, then I'm going to do a chain of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see, in this one I did not slip stitch into the same stitch. I went and slip stitched into the next stitch, so I'm just gonna copy that. It doesn't really matter. If you want to slip stitch back into this, you can. Whatever you want. It's not that serious. It's just a froggy pouch. So now I'm gonna slip stitch all the way around until I get to the back stitch marker. I have reached the stitch marker, so pull that out. And now we will chain 50 after one slip stitch. Okay, so one. Except I got a little messy there. I'm gonna redo. I'm gonna redo all of those. I don't like how my tension was not good there. All right, start again. If you don't like something, frog it and do it over, always. Okay, there's 50. I'm gonna slip stitch into the next stitch. If I can figure out where that is, it's this one. Make sure I didn't twist the chain. I did not. Success. And then slip stitch until I get back to the beginning. See, and then here's where it gets a little tricky. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna stop right here. And I'm gonna do an invisible finish off, or whatever people call it. Now, if you're not sure if this is the right size, hold off on finishing off until you finish your frog and you can test it, because you can always take this out, make your loops bigger or smaller or whatever you need. So yeah, if you're not sure, hold off. But if you are, you can do this now, but I'm gonna show you how to do this so you can come back to it later when you're ready. So, you see how I just pulled that out? So it looks like this. What you're gonna do is go through these V's here, like this. And you're gonna get it tangled around everything. That's correct. So you go through like this, and then you're gonna go back through the middle of that last stitch that you made there, like this. And then it just looks like one continuous pattern. There's obviously a lump because of where you started single crocheting from a chain without joining, but it looks fine, and especially when you fold it, you can't even see it. So from there, you would want to like weave it down, maybe tie a knot, weave it a little more, cut it. But we don't want to do that now because we're still working on it. So we're just gonna leave this at the length that it is and just let it flop around and it will be fine. But that's how you do that. And then once that is finished, we can continue crocheting the body of the frog. And you can check this out, make sure it lines up. If it doesn't line up, pull it out, frog it, make sure it lines up. So from this point forward, we're not going to be counting where to put our increases on the sides of the frog. What we're going to be doing is smushing it down so that your middle point is in the middle. And then you're just going to put stitch markers where the increases are going to go. So it doesn't matter where your starting point is, you're going to figure out where the middle is, mark that, and that's where you're increasing. We're on round 5. And by the way, to count, you can just count the single crochet rows. The very first single crochet row, or round, the very first single crochet round is 2, because of course the first one was a chain. So 2, 3, 4. So you've got 4 rounds, which means you're on round 5, and we are doing increases on round 5, so you're gonna have a stitch count of 40 when you're done. So here, oops, I like to use green for the first increase and then red as my stop for the second increase. So here is the middle of each side. So we will be doing, of course, single crochet and then increases in the marked stitches again for 40. All right, and there is the end, and we have 40 stitches. Time for round 6. No increases on this one, just a straight row, round. I always say rows. So we'll just mark, yeah, we'll just mark the end there and do 40 single crochet. Next, for round 7, you're going to do 2 more increases, 1 on each side. So again, lay nice and flat and determine where the increase should go on each side. So this is the middle on this side, and I would say the last stitch I did will be in the middle there as well. So another round of single crochet with 2 increases. Let's go. right, and then we're going to do, for round 8, just single crochet around, no increases. So on round 9, which is next, not only are we doing increases, but we're also gonna crochet the little arms. So here's what we're gonna do. Make sure you're facing the front. Smush it down so it's flat and centered. And mark the 4th stitch in, again, looking at the front, the 4th stitch in from the side. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be this one. Let's see. I'm going to compare that. 3, 4. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 over because you can really only see 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I suppose it would have to start. Okay, I'm gonna go with my original plan. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gonna be slightly to the left, you know, but it'll be on top and slightly to the left. Okay, 4. Then you want to count to 12 and mark the 12th stitch, but we're not gonna do the red marker. We'll do the blue marker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Mark that one. So the way the leg is going to work, it's going to take up 2 stitches here, and then it's going to take up 2 stitches here. So you want to make sure the first stitch and the second stitch here look right. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though it doesn't look quite right with the paper clips, it should be even when you actually crochet it. But you're also going to do increases on the side. So you'll want to mark the increases. So here is this side increase, and then this will mark the end of the round on this side. And I'm going to do the increase. I actually am going to do it 1 stitch before my last stitch because of the way the crochet is starting to rotate naturally a little bit. So I'm going to put it here instead of where I left off, and I think that will be good. So obviously I will be single crocheting until I hit my increase, because this is the back side. increase. And then we'll single crochet until we hit our first stitch marker. Okay, so we're gonna make our first arm. By the way, the arms and the legs are exactly the same. So I'll obviously show you guys how to make the legs again when we get there, but it is the exact same. So first, single crochet. Next, chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into the second chain from your hook, just into that top loop. We're gonna do like a sort of mini puff stitch. So we're gonna yarn over, go through the top loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, go back through that same loop, yarn over, pull through until you've got 5 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And you're not elongating the loops like you would in a more traditional puff stitch. Just do a comfortable yarn over, except I dropped the loop, so we're gonna have to do it again. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and this time I'm not going to drop the loop. I mean, I might. Okay, there we go, success. And now you're going to slip stitch down these 5 chains. Don't do it like super tight. You gotta just have like a comfortable tension, just like the same tension you did along the border, assuming you've done the border. You're not looking to shrink this up, you're just looking to make it tight and neat. And 4. And the last chain, number 5. You can see how that looks. He's just got a little poofy foot there. And then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch and until you hit the next marker, and then you're going to make the other arm. Okay, so I have reached the stitch marker, so we're going to take that out, single crochet, and then make the other arm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, 5 loops, and pull through. Hey, I did it in one go. Are you proud of me? And then 5 slip stitches. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm tangled. 4, 5, and single crochet into the next one. And then just look at them and make sure they're not like too different. Looks good enough to me, so we'll just keep going. And this is our new end point. So 2 single crochet. And there we go. And that was round 9, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, round 9. We've got 44 total stitches. And your dear little frog is coming to life. Look at this adorable little baby. And here is the original for comparison, looking pretty much identical, which is always the goal, right? Next is round 10, and we will have no increases, but you will have, thank you, loud traffic, but you will have the unique challenge of crocheting into the correct stitches to make sure your stitch count is still the same at 44. So I will show you how we do that when we get there. Okay, so we're getting to the point where we're going to have to crochet over the legs. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift them up and you're going to crochet and crochet around it. But first you have to figure out where you need to crochet into. So this is actually super simple. You just need to look at your little V's. So this one is going to be here. And then your next V is here, which is going to be here. So these are the 2 stitches. Where's the camera? It's right here. Focus. So these are the 2 stitches that you need to crochet into. You just have to look carefully and see where you actually previously crocheted. You might be tempted to crochet here, but that would be wrong. This is not part of your single crochet from the previous round. So do not crochet into that. So I'll hold this up here. Hopefully it's focusing. I can only sort of see my phone right now. So here is where we do this first single crochet like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to push this down, then go into the loops of the next stitch. And then make sure you're pulling this like adequately tight. Like don't overdo it. Like let it loosen up as you crochet. But if you don't pull it tight here, it might be really loose like this. And then you won't notice, and then you'll have to frog it and go back. So just pull it tight and then let it naturally loosen up and go like that. And then I'll do a couple more stitches here so you can see. And then it looks like that. See? Ta-da! So, we'll be doing the same thing, of course, over the other arm. So we've got 1 stitch here, 1 stitch here. So crochet into this one, and then this is the next stitch. Pull that leg, tighten that yarn, loosen it, and crochet. Boom. and that's about where the side is. It's time for round 11. So we are going to do 2 increases. So find that middle stitch right there, and on this side it's going to be right there. And let's go. And with that we have 46 stitches. So we're going to do around 12, just single crochet around. Next, for round 13, we are going to increase to 48 stitches. So let's see, we'll increase here. And we'll increase here. And there we go. And single crochet and increase. Let's go. Now comes the boring part. You're gonna do rounds 14 through 18, all single crochet. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 rounds. So, you know, put on some tunes, do what you gotta do, and just single crochet for 5 rounds. Alright, I'm not gonna record this part because it's gonna be pretty boring, so I will see you when we get to round 19. Happy crocheting! Apparently, I did not hit the record button on the last round, so I'm gonna pull out what I did so that I can show you guys properly. That is so annoying. We're gonna be decreasing this round, so you'll need to figure out which 2 stitches you're decreasing together. And I'm gonna mark the first one here. I'll be decreasing these 2, and then on this one I will be decreasing these 2 together. Alright, so we've come up on our first stitch marker, so we're going to decrease these 2 together. Now, on the green frog, I did the classic invisible decrease for stuffed animals, where you only go through the front 2 loops like this. But it has this lumpy look, and I'm wondering if I do a regular decrease going through both loops, I'm wondering if it will be less lumpy. I'm not sure, so we're gonna experiment, and it'll either be a better look or a worse look, or it'll be exactly the same. You know how that works. So unlike the previous increase rounds where it was increase, no increase, increase, no increase, we are going to be decreasing all the rest of the way because we have quite a voluptuous behind that we need to shape, so it needs to decrease quickly. So there won't be any more single crochet rounds for the rest of the entire pattern. All right, so now we're on round 20, and we're gonna do, let's see, 2, and we're gonna do 2 more decreases. So flatten your little froggy out, figure out. So we're gonna decrease these two together. So I'll get that one right there. And on this side, let's see, I think I'm gonna do another single crochet on this side because I don't have a good look at what the true middle is, so I'm just gonna do a couple more single crochet on the end of this to figure out where to decrease. There we go. So it's going to be, yeah, this one and this one. So we'll put the red marker right there. And now we crochet. Right, and decrease. All right, and then I'm gonna do a couple extra single crochet stitches because I feel like the same thing is gonna happen that happened last time, where I can't exactly tell where I want my decreases to be. So we're gonna go like that, and then the next move is a decrease 2 again. This is round 21. We're going down to 42 stitches. So once again, flatten out. So we're gonna do these two together, and then these two. Yeah, this one. Okay, so here's how we're looking. It is less bumpy. Look at that. It's way less bumpy. Okay, seems like going through both loops is the way. Next round, round 22, we're going down to 40 stitches, 2 decreases. So we'll do these 2 here. And I guess we'll do these 2. Well, see, once you get down, it becomes a little harder to tell, because really there's 1 stitch in the middle here, but you gotta find 2 stitches in the middle. But I think that's the right thing to do, is to go right here. All right, here we go, because this one's like slightly behind, and then this one's slightly forward, so that, you know, that matches. All right. So I did the decrease, and then again I'm going to do a couple of extra stitches. Okay. Second to last round, round 23. This one is a doozy. Okay, it's not really, but it's gonna have 2 decreases on each side, and we're making the legs. So there is a lot involved. We gotta mark some stitches, so let's figure that out. You want the legs to run parallel with the arms. So you want to just like go down, figure out what is going to match. So obviously the stitches, you know, they curve a little bit. So you want to just draw a line with your finger and figure out where it should go and ignore the actual stitches. So to me it looks like this leg should be these 2 stitches, and this leg should be these 2. Let's see, so it'll end on this one. 2 stitches, really got 3 stitches there. You just gotta go with your gut, and you can always, once you get here, if it looks off, you can just frog it and redo it. So don't worry about it that much. It's super not that big of a deal. But we also have to worry about the 2 increases or 2 decreases on each side. So we're gonna have these 2. Yeah, this one, and then that one. That's not right. So I think these 2, and then this is always the tricky part. Like, how do you decide? How do you decide? All right, because it really looks like there's like 3 stitches here in the middle. It seems like I would go with these 2 are in the middle. So it would have to be these 2 and then these 2, which means, yes, the leg will be right after that decrease. But you know what? That's just how it's going to be. So we're going to do this. But if we're going to copy that, So the leg will end here, then it would be decrease, decrease, which doesn't seem right to me. So perhaps we'll move the leg over 1, and then it'll end here, and then decrease, 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 decrease. That, I think, makes sense. So that's what we're gonna try. So leg ends here, which means the decrease is here, because yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 leg, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the leg. Okay, so that's what we're going with. How many stitches do I have between these? It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, which is one more than the arms. But aesthetics are more important than math. But again, we'll try this, and if I feel like it doesn't actually work, then we'll move this over 1 and redo it and see what happens. But this is what crochet is all about. Trial and error, because it's so easy to just redo things. And now I'm going to do 2 decreases. Oh, I got a fuzzy. All right, so 1, and 2. And then we make the leg. So chain 7 after you single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over, insert. Apparently I cannot insert. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and go through all the loops, and then slip stitch. Got a dog hair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to single crochet until I hit the next marker. So now I will do leg. And then we'll see how it looks. So do 1 single crochet. And then we're gonna do 2 decreases. And again, I'm going to do a couple more single crochet just to round that out. All right, there we go. Legs. Oh, this looks a lot better. Look at how smooth that is. Okay, so I think we need to push this back one after all and have 12 between them, because even though, I don't know, what do we think? It doesn't quite match up perfectly with this arm, but I feel like it looks centered. I feel like it looks centered on his butt. So maybe we'll leave it. Nah, it really looks off with the arm though. So okay, I'm gonna push it back one. All right, this is what it's all about, people. It's art. All right, so we're gonna take this one off. We'll do the leg here instead. But I think where I had the decreases was right. Let's see, single crochet. That means we do one more single crochet. And then the decreases, because I wanted to keep the decreases in the same place because I think those were correct. Yeah, I think that looks better with the arms. I do. Flip it around. Yeah, I like that. I like that better, even though it makes his butt a little bigger on this side. Can't have everything perfect, you know? Or maybe I should just do the decrease earlier. Would that help? See, I'm gonna try it. I'm never gonna be finished with this project, just so you know. I'm just gonna do this over and over. We'll just try it. We'll see if that makes the butt look smaller on this side and balance out. All right, here we go. Let's go frog butt. What do we got? What do we got? I mean, it's not better, it's not worse, it's kind of exactly the same. So we'll just, yeah, I don't know. Sure. Okay, so we'll go with that. Do what I did. Okay, so round 24, we're gonna decrease 2 times again on each side, so we end with 32 stitches to finish. I did a couple more single crochet just to get the full roundedness. It's gonna be the first stitch on the first leg here is gonna be 1 decrease, and then the 2 stitches before that is gonna be the first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna do the same thing here. So the second stitch on the second leg, that's going to be the start of the decreasing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is going to be that. All right, so let's go. And that's it. That's it. We did it. Frog is done. Wow, this looks so much nicer than this guy's butt. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. He's so lumpy and this one's so smooth. Well, there is a clear winner for whether to do invisible decrease or regular decrease, and the winner is regular decrease without a doubt. So now that that is done, we can cut a bit of yarn. So we're gonna sew the bottom shut with that. Doesn't have to be this long, but I overdo it so that I don't run out of yarn, because what's worse than running out of yarn? Okay, so time to stitch up the bottom. The way I did this one was like a ladder stitch going in and out, and honestly I think that worked well. I tried a few different methods and I hated all of them except for that method, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that again for this one. You certainly can experiment with some other stitches to close this up, but I thought it worked quite well. So from here I'm just going to go like this. Yes, that'll do. And then back through like this. And just back and forth, going across the bottom. It's exactly what I did for the green guy. that is it. So what I'm going to do here is insert going in this way. Then I'm going to pull it out over here. And I'm going to go back through because there's like this hole that doesn't really want to close for some reason. So I'm going to go through here and just make sure we get that closed, and then I'll go back through here again, and that should do it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Now it's staying shut. And then I will just make a knot down here, like so. Put my needle through that loop. Pull it tight without breaking my nails, ideally. Good, good, I did it. Go a little more. There we go. And then I'm going to weave it through the surface stitches on the back side. And then I'm going to poke through both sides and then come up, come back out there. And then I'm going to weave it through the same stitches I already went through again. And then we'll just bring it up through the bottom and we'll cut it. We'll pull a little bit so it's tight, and then it'll just disappear right in there. And then if you were making adjustments to the pattern, now you would go and do this top row until it works. This is definitely big enough. Next we have to make the eyes. So you're going to make a magic ring, magic circle, whatever, of 6 single crochet. When I do the crochet in the magic ring, I do a yarn over single crochet, just because I find it easier to control my tension. But if you want to do the under over, you can. I think it's easier this way, and it doesn't really affect the way it looks. So 3, 4, 5, 6, so that I don't personally feel there's any reason to stick to the under over in the ring, but that's just me. All right, so next for round 2, we're gonna do 12 single crochet, and of course I'm gonna go back to the under over method for this. For round 3, we're going to increase to 16 stitches, so it's going to be an increase every 1 to 3rd stitch until you get back to the beginning. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Hey, math. Okay, so next you're going to do 2 rounds of 16 single crochet, and then your eyeball will be finished. So there is 2 more rounds, and you can see, just like with the body, it's just like the tiniest bit bigger because this yarn is just a little bit fluffier, but you can see it's a good fit. It fits very well, so as long as you have decided it looks good, you can cut a nice long tail, finish that off, and then make your second eyeball. I will do that off camera, and then we will make the blush. The very last thing to crochet in this project is going to be the little blush circles. For this one, for the green one, I just did magic circles of 6 single crochet, and then I decided to do something bigger and flashier for the pink one. So this is a magic circle, magic ring, whatever, of 10 half double crochet, because I don't know, I thought she deserved some bigger cheeks because it would be cute. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, I can count sometimes. And then we'll tighten that. Make sure they're relatively the same size. Yeah, that looks good enough. Let's see, and then slip stitch to finish. And then cut a long tail so we can sew that on. And I'm going to weave away the back tail, or the starting tail, like this. So get it on the needle. So I'm going to go forward a couple of stitches like this. Pull that tight. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction a few stitches. But I'm going to make sure that the middle is pulled tight before I finish pulling that through. And then that's good to go. Pull that nice and tight, you're good. and then you can cut that. All right, and then you want to do, oh, why am I putting my needle down? Then you want to do the invisible finish here. So let's see, my brain, right, so go through this V and then go through this stitch right here that you started with. There, now you gotta mush it back into a circle. There we go, there we go. Now we got a circle, and then you can start sewing, but not till later. We'll have to do some other stuff first. Now we're gonna go ahead and make the face. First things first, you're going to figure out what kind of eyes you're putting on your frog. You can see the buttons I used for this. They are domed buttons, so they have a nice 3D pop out effect. You know, like safety eyes on a stuffed animal. I think it looks really nice. You can use a flat type button, which I have plenty of here. You could even do scrapbook brads if you've never worked with scrapbooking brads. They were pretty popular in the 2010s for little stuffed animals, and I think they look really cute. But I'm gonna go ahead and use the same ones. Another option, of course, is to crochet them, like you can see on my very dirty and dusty spider coaster. Don't judge me. These are embroidered out of embroidery floss, and I feel like the smaller ones or even the bigger ones might work. So just do whatever you like the best and figure out where you want them. Now, on the green one, I did sew these onto the body first and then awkwardly sew on the eyes because I wasn't entirely sure where I wanted them to go, and it's always easier to figure that out when they're actually attached. But if you're gonna copy me, they are sewn onto the 4th round, 4 out of 5. So I'm just gonna sew them on the 4th round the same way I did with this one, and then they will come out like this. Before I sew these onto here, I'm actually going to sew the cheeks on. Since these are a little bit bigger, I'm doing a slightly different placement. On the green one, I put them directly under the eyeballs, but on this one, I'm going to put them all the way on the outsides of the cheeks. So we're going to go just under that top round for the very top stitch. I'll go ahead and just put that in there. And then come up out the next stitch. Move these over. Of course, there's a dog hair. Dog hairs everywhere. Such is my life. All right. And should look something like that, and then sew on the next one as well. Once the cheeks are sewn on, you can go ahead and tie off the ends and weave them away. So I like to just do something like this. I bring my needle up through a stitch, and then just do a loop and then tie that, pull that tight, and then do another one on a stitch right next to it. And then just stick it between the two, the inside and the outside. Weave that through, pull really tight, and then go under a surface stitch like this, and then go under both layers, and again weave through the middle, pull that tight, and then cut that off. And that is super secure, or at least plenty secure enough for this type of project. So as you can see with the green one, so on the eyes I only went through that last single crochet, the last slip stitch row rather, not single crochet. I didn't go through all the stitches on the top because that's really chunky and you would have very visible stitches because you wouldn't be able to pull the yarn tight enough for them to sort of disappear. So you want to only go through these front stitches from the slip stitch round that you did to finish like this, and leave the back ones alone. You can see how different it comes out simply because it is just ever so slightly bigger than the green one because I'm using a different yarn. But still pretty darn cute. And I'll sew on the other one. Go ahead and weave away your ends. Okay, so now the only thing left is to make the mouth. Got just enough embroidery floss left on my needle to make the mouth. It'll be a little difficult, but I can manage. So, obviously for the green one, I just did a straight across line, but there are so many different design options. The world is your oyster and you can do any kind of design that you want. You can do smile, W, sad face. Personally, I really love this expression, so I am just gonna do this again. And maybe that's boring, but I like my serious face frogs. I love them. Let's see, so for this one, I did it one round down from the top. I'm gonna go ahead and make my little loop knot thing right here in the middle. Let's see. So that's it, just make a line. And you need this to be tight enough that it's not gonna come loose simply by moving around in a purse or what have you. So you need to make sure it's nice and tight. I'm gonna just bring this through to the back. I'm gonna weave it through these stitches though, like this. And that'll help with the tension of keeping it tight. You don't want it to be too tight either, so you want to kind of stretch it a little bit after you pull it. And then maybe pull it a little bit more. And then that's it. Very simple. Then we'll weave this out here. And then I'll weave it back through. And then cut that. To hide away the little ends from the first knot, just grab your regular crochet needle here, your thread needle, go through a stitch and just push those through, and then just do that. So here are your lovely little frogs for you to use however you see fit. Well, alrighty. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have some sort of cute little frog pouch. Do show it off on social media and tag me, pretty please, if you make one, because, well, A, I want to see it, and B, tell everybody my channel exists, okay? So let me know if you enjoyed this longer form type video from me. I haven't really done one like this on my channel yet, so I don't know. I'm probably gonna still have a mix of like short and long videos. But anyway, let me know if you like this and I can do more in the future. Also if you like the pouch idea but you want different animals, tell me, because it was pretty fun to make, honestly. It's like making a stuffed animal but like way less intense. So I can do more of those. Okay, bye.